hot dog stand in Taiwan was shaken violently when a powerful earthquake suddenly struck, causing everything to sway in an instant. Screams rang out everywhere as the ground shook violently. Shoppers hugged each other in panic, trying to keep their balance amid the 7.5 magnitude earthquake. Oh my God! The sound of metal colliding resounded amid the earthquake, causing people nearby to run away in panic. Everything happened in a moment of chaos and horror. Erosion accelerated, turning the mountainside into an unpredictable death trap. How terrifying. Even from a distance, the video still makes the heart ache with fear. It is hard to imagine the extreme panic that the people on the boat are suffering in the midst of the raging sea and sky. Let me feel the light cutting through the night like a punishment from nature. When lightning strikes the sea, what really happens under the seemingly peaceful waves?
Oh my God, guys. Tornado.
Oh my God, I'm in a tornado! A panicked scream rang out as dust billowed around the car, obscuring all vision.
Oh my God. In a fucking tornado, bro. Holy shit. Holy shit.
The cheese seller was shocked to recount the moment he saw lightning tear across the sky, dazzling and haunting. Oh, the water surged, turning the street into a death trap in an instant. A breathtaking moment amid the fury of nature.
Okay.
A sudden flood swept away a series of vehicles, turning the streets into raging streams. Nature did not warn, leaving behind only chaos and horror. In 2024, Myanmar witnessed the terrifying wrath of nature when a jade mining waste reservoir on a mountaintop suddenly burst. A giant stream of water rushed down, creating a flood that destroyed everything. A man-made disaster. Sometimes nature is not angry, it is testing people. Once again, nature shows its brutal power that cannot be underestimated. Unbelievable. A terrifying dust storm swept across Arizona, whipping debris into the air like a fury from the desert. The sky was red, the wind howled, throwing the area into chaos. This is crazy. People stood in amazement as a torrent of black mud rolled through a California canyon, carrying trees and boulders with it.
That is all avalanche debris. All right. All right, let's go home. Okay.
A lightning strike near Zion National Park, USA, caused a large rock to suddenly slide down a steep cliff, creating a dramatic natural phenomenon.
Oh my God, I'm in a tornado. I'm in a tornado. I'm in a tornado. I'm in a tornado!
Oh no, we're in a tornado! A trembling voice rang out in the middle of Arkansas as the wind blew everything away. The sky was spinning. People held their breath, waiting for the next terrible thing. Iceberg tsunami, a rare phenomenon when giant blocks of ice break off, creating large waves and causing serious coastal impacts.
Hey! Wow!
A flood that swept through Belgium turned streets into rushing rivers. Cars, houses, all were swept away in a moment, leaving a feeling of helplessness before nature.
Holy, that car's flying!
A strong wind caused the car to lose control, and an accident occurred. Bad weather always poses risks. Please be careful when participating in traffic.
Yeah, what's going on in the valley? They said a big dust storm is happening. Crazy. Yeah. Look at the light, yeah.
In central California, a giant dust storm suddenly struck, turning the sky into a hazy curtain like an apocalyptic movie. The electricity was cut off. Everyone could only hide and pray.
Yeah, what's going on in the valley? They said a big dust storm is happening.
The Illinois highway became foggy as a dust storm swept through. Drivers seemed to be passing through a sand rain with no way out. The Florida coast was swept by fierce waves when Hurricane Idalia made landfall. A coastal house was severely damaged, showing the unforgiving violence of nature. Severe flooding in Roswell swept away hundreds of homes, destroyed infrastructure, and caused shortages of food and clean water. The risk of disease outbreaks is increasing. In a hilly area, vehicles had to stop helplessly as rocks and soil poured down from above. The scene of cars surrendering to nature makes everyone who witnesses them shudder. In Naples, Florida, a downed power line sparked a fire when sparks met steam rising from a flooded street. The incident occurred while Storm Ian was approaching, revealing the fierceness of nature that cannot be underestimated. Oh no! What just happened? Do you know what phenomenon this is? Tens of meters of glacier flow melted and collapsed like ice cream in the sun. Unbelievable.
哇，这是山
山崩
崩！
哎！
哇，这里要崩过来了！
哇，怎么办？
哇！
An earthquake in Taiwan caused rocks and soil to fall like a flood. In just a few seconds, the ground exploded. Everything became chaotic beyond imagination.
对你的。
At Dorset Beach, a giant cliff suddenly collapsed right next to where people were walking. A fierce stab from nature, making everyone's heart skip a beat.
Yeah.
Brandon.
Wow, it's big.
Houses.
Ese sí va. Mira, se llevó la casa. Ah.
It's coming straight towards us. A tornado in Kansas rushed forward like a fierce god, hurling everything into the sky in a scene of breathtaking horror. The dust and heat swirled, creating a terrifying scene like the end of the world. Nature roared in the midst of fire.
We got a tornado here or what? I mean...
Hundreds of feet high, a giant dust storm suddenly swirled near a residential area, shocking and terrifying witnesses. 17. A storm with a tornado warning suddenly hit the suburbs of Nashville. The sky rolled black as if it was about to explode. No 24. On June 21st, the village of La Bérarde in the French Alps was swept away by mud and rocks after days of heavy rain and melting snow. Video recorded a breathtaking rescue from a buried house. A giant dust storm suddenly hit central Kansas, turning the day into a red fog. The wind whipped up dust, obscuring visibility and throwing the area into chaos. Power lines caught fire in the middle of an ice storm, an incredibly scary scene.
Holy.
Rage sandstorm swept across the desert, turning everything into a blur of sand dust and fierce winds. Northern Kansas shook as rain and wind poured down. The wind screamed, heaven and earth seemed angry, opening the door for a collective attack of storms and tornadoes. A powerful thunderstorm swept through Berlin, accompanied by high winds and torrential rain, causing fallen trees, traffic chaos, and train delays. Nature once again reminds people not to be negligent. giant sea of sand swallowed the entire Texas sky when Storm Chaser was enveloped by a fierce dust storm. Everything was blurry, frantic, as if falling into a desert nightmare. Fourth Storm Chaser faced a tornado head-on in northeast Nebraska. Before their eyes was a roaring vortex, sweeping away all traces of life on the ground. Can you believe it? Tonga's volcano exploded violently, spewing ash sky high. Just one day later, the tsunami hit, shocking the entire area. Unbelievable! The tsunami suddenly hit Pacifica, California, causing panic and shock among people.
Come in the patio. Seriously. Jesus.
Mount Etna continues to erupt violently. Lava flows out, and ash covers the sky. An intense scene, leaving the whole area engulfed in heat and gray smoke. Spider lightning glows brightly, the entire night sky in Adelaide, like a giant spider web stretched across the sky, a mesmerizing natural spectacle. Storm. Solik landed in Taiwan with terrifying winds, sweeping away everything in its path. Storm Isaiah swept through, knocking down every row of trees, blowing everything on the road. The city turned into a maze of ruins under the angry hands of the wind. Heavy rain collapsed an embankment in Santa Clarita, California, causing an RV to capsize and float in fast-flowing waters. The image of the car floating in the middle of the stream is a warning about the harshness of extreme weather. Burning Man, where music and lights are obscured by a blinding dust storm. Thousands of people are lost in the surreal fog, moving with difficulty in a space that is no different from another planet. Krakatau wakes up. Indonesia's famous volcano suddenly erupted. Huge ash dyed the sky red, creating a majestic and dangerous scene. Ash continues to rise from the Krakatau crater as a reminder of the uncontrollable destructive power of nature. At Burning Man, strong winds created a giant fire tornado. The swirling column of fire swirled with dust and heat, creating an unimaginable scene. Lightning like blades of light tore through the Chicago sky. The quiet atmosphere suddenly lit up brightly, creating a spectacular display of the universe. In Truckee, California, the snowfall was so heavy that the roof had to be cleared to prevent it from collapsing. This winter is one of the snowiest seasons in Sierra Nevada history. Storm Isaias swept through, knocking down every row of trees, blowing everything on the road. Spring snowstorms swept through North Dakota, covering everything with white snow. The whole land seemed to turn into a majestic, icy world in mid-March. La Palma shakes. Intense volcanic activity seriously threatened the local community, forcing thousands of people to urgently evacuate.
Big tornado.
In Andover, Kansas, a violent tornado appeared like a machine of destruction. Houses, trees, everything was blown away in just a few seconds, as if nature decided to reset the entire neighborhood. Ice melts, creating a powerful stream of water that swept away everything. A powerful moment of nature.
Wow. Wow.
In California, authorities had to blow up a landslide to prevent danger. Loud explosions, flying rocks, a war between humans and nature. Bruneck. The white snow is no longer peaceful when the electric wire breaks, emitting bright red sparks in the cold night. A scene that was both strange and heart-pounding. First time seeing it, seawater flooded the shore and froze right on the sand. The waves crashed violently into the frozen lighthouse in Michigan amid the biting cold wind, creating a breathtaking scene. On the Eyre Peninsula, thick black storm clouds swirled like a nightmare about to descend. The sky seemed to be preparing for a stormy party to which no one was invited.
It's not that big.
Not that big.
Yeah.
A 5.9 magnitude earthquake has rocked Japan, causing the ground to wobble and buildings to shake violently. The sound echoed like a drum from underground, creating a moment of terror and overwhelm. A glacier suddenly burst, tons of ice rushing down the valley like a giant cold rain. The whole area was engulfed in a chaotic and shuddering atmosphere. A terrible flash flood swept through Chamasun, Switzerland, carrying rocks and debris, creating a terrifying tragedy and seriously threatening local residents.
Look at that car too.
Tropical Storm Beryl hit Houston with heavy rain and flooding, causing many roads to turn into rivers and people's lives to be seriously disrupted. Huge hail hit the roof of Parliament House in Canberra like thousands of bullets falling from the sky. A wake-up call from the sky that no one expected. Clepsydra geyser sprays strongly like a tornado in the fiery sunset. The scene was breathtakingly beautiful, as if nature was
Clepsydra
performing.
geyser with sunset. Oh my God, is this ever beautiful? It looks like a...
No.
Multiple tornadoes appeared in Dumas, Texas, with one large tornado swirling across a field, creating a scene that was both intense and
I told
overwhelming.
Brenna, I said, look at that tail. We heard something. We're like, what the? It's gone now. Yeah.
Heavy snowfall paralyzed Stafford Road. Trees fell, cars were damaged, and traffic was completely chaotic. On June 5th, on Negros Island, a stream of mud and volcanic debris poured down just 2 days after the eruption. The ground shook. The scene was like the end of the world. A coastal house was swept into the sea by giant waves. It all happened in a moment of horror and shock. A towering waterspout forms over Ellis Lake, Roxbury, Maine, making the scene magical like an enchanting natural masterpiece. Violent waves continuously attack the coast, demonstrating the primordial and unstoppable power of nature. After Hurricane Franklin, Irish beaches were filled with white sea foam, like giant frosting. The scene is so magical that it seems to come from another world. Before Hurricane Michael landed, the Alabama coast was constantly attacked by large waves, creating a scene that was both majestic and threatening. People were warned to urgently prepare to respond. Huge floods swept through Valencia, sweeping away everything, from cars to trash cans, turning streets into flooding rivers. The whole city seemed to be caught up in a chaotic tide with no end in sight. A strong tornado suddenly swept through Northern California, tearing off roofs and blowing away all objects. This scene is like a scene from an apocalyptic movie. The peak of Rose Mountain welcomes the first fall snow, marking a clear change of season with a white and peaceful natural scene. Surveillance cameras in Tocopilla, Chile captured the moment of violent shaking when a major earthquake struck off the north coast in late July. A terrible landslide in the Ecuadorian capital caused rocks and soil to collapse onto the streets. A roaring sound and a thick layer of dust covered everything, like a blanket of destruction. roar of rubble echoed like thunder, signaling the wrath of nature. Pedestrians ran in panic as a landslide swept through a peaceful alpine town in Italy 6.